So what is the exact function, or how does craving really work in the mind, and the relationship between craving and delusion or ignorance? When we crave, and craving, I would think of it as a spectrum. There is very subtle craving and there's very strong craving. Craving where you feel you absolutely need to get what you want, or you will, or the whole life will be so bad. And little subtle cravings. The more craving there is in the mind, the more solid black and white reality seems, and the more separate you will feel as an individual. So I know sometimes for myself, when I'm very emotional, and there's nothing wrong with emotions, but emotional in a way of fear about these emotions staying forever, or fear that I won't be able to resolve the situation. There's a very strong sense of black and whiteness. So reality and my whole understanding of my past, my future, becomes tinted by this view. Everything is this issue. Everything becomes this fear. Everything in the future becomes a source for this fear. Or likewise, when you're angry, when I'm angry, it's like everything in the past and future becomes the source for this anger, and it seems there's nothing else except the anger and reasons, or reasons to blame, to be angry. So this very black and white, very separated perspective. Separate in the sense of I feel very alone, tensed up, contracted, and the whole world is against me. This is a very separated perspective and feeling, felt sensation. Usually the body and mind is very tense. And when there's less and less craving in the mind, there's less and less separation. There's more and more seeing how we are interrelated, being open to be touched by what's around us, seeing clearly and influencing the world. Less and less black and white thinking. Things are much more nuanced and shaded. Everything is perspective. There's no absolute truth or reality. We're all having different perspectives. Black and white thinking. And there's also the clear understanding. So when we have a balanced mind, there is a better understanding of what is thought, speech, and actions which are wholesome, which are good for. Wholesome is defined as good for myself, good for others, good for the world. When there's a lot of craving, usually we are much more engaged in unwholesome actions and thoughts and speech which are not good for ourselves, not good for others. Like when we think back at the last time we have a very tense, contracted mind, we just don't make good decisions from that state. We usually tend to act from anxiety or anger or fear, and we try to fix things and make sure it doesn't happen, but we actually make things much worse for ourselves, because we're acting from this fear, from this craving. And when we have a lot of craving in the mind, we also tend to just see what supports that view, that delusion, that idea of reality that we have, that black and white idea. And we just see data, or it's like we have colored glasses on and we just see everything in the red color, or in white color, or in blue color, because the mind looks for information that supports its own view. So when we're meditating, there is this whole experience which is happening over 1 hour. So many different things start happening in that 1 hour. But when we have a mind with full of craving, that hour becomes very black and white. So before we start meditating, I fear I don't want to sit for an hour. I don't want to walk. I don't want to sit. Meditation is so boring. It's horrible. I don't like it. Very black and white. As we start to open to the moment, we see that every moment is changing. There's something else. We start to relax this craving. and the perspective opens. The delusion gets less. There's more mindfulness, more presence. In a mind that is full of craving, harmful thoughts, speech, and actions arise. So everything originates in mind. All our physical actions, all our vocal actions that we do and that others do in the world is all rooted in the quality of the mind that that individual has. Especially now in the world, no, we have a lot of not good behavior, not good for anyone, not good for their own country, not good for other countries. But that's because the mind which is making those decisions is full of craving, full of aversion, full of delusion. And a mind that is with less and less craving, or maybe even completely free from craving, is more healthy, more balanced, will start to make better decisions. An analogy is when we are very unhealthy, when we're eating very unhealthy and we feel very unhealthy, we have very unhealthy habits, we're not exercising, we're not eating well, then the mind wants more of that which makes it unhealthy. It starts craving more and more bad things, bad food, bad sugars, more and more stimulation, more and more things that unbalance it. So this is unhealthy mind. It's a mind full of craving. When we are more balanced, there is healthiness. So we're eating well, and when we're eating well, we understand better what do I really need to eat. It doesn't mean that all intentions die and I don't eat anything. It means I understand this, and we don't force ourselves to eat the salad or the vegetables. We just feel intrinsic need to eat them because we know and we feel this is good for my body, this is good for me. So a balanced mind makes balanced decisions, and actions are motivated by wholesome desires, wholesome intentions arise rather than unwholesome ones. Good for ourselves, good for others, and wisdom helps us to understand more and more how to be in this balance, this clear way. But we need to practice.